It should say Tai Chi, Jennifer Crosby.
So in that list, it says Jennifer Crosby.
Tai Chi.
Tai Chi. So
Okay, good. I'll try that.
Okay.
Right now,
And do you have my phone number in
Yes,
case? Okay.
I will call you in case I have problems.
Okay. Yeah, just let me know.
Tell her it's either in website or it's either in events. It's
Okay. You hear that, Miss
in one of
Betty?
those two.
I think it's in the, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you went from a regular top laptop or computer, you would go to YouTube and search Jennifer Crosby. But you're coming from that fancy Claris that tried to make it easier for you, where you can just hit a button and it takes you straight there. So if you have any problems with that, let me know and I can get in touch with Alexie, and I know that she's a lot more familiar with it.
Alexie.
Yeah, I tell one day I'm going to have a Claris. It's going to be in October, so we're not far from it. So I'll have a better idea of what y'all see that I just don't even know, because I just coming from a laptop on Zoom. So we'll get you straight. Don't worry. We'll get you straight.
That's going to be hard, I'm sure, but I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, look, you're already here. So, I mean, you're like moving mountains in terms of technology. So, I tell you, the number one word we fight is change, right? We don't like change. And the older we get, the more we don't like change. And so for somebody to do something different, like you're doing something different, you signed up for the Claris and you're signing up for Tai Chi. That is so brave to say, okay, I don't like change, but I'm going to try it. And then that doesn't mean it's going to always be easy. You're going to have.
Well, I really like your class and I hope I can get everything.
We'll get you straight. Don't worry. We're in this together. So if you notice, I'm in a different place and it probably looks like a hotel room because that's where I'm at. I'm in a hotel room. I'm at an aging conference at Amelia Island in Florida, and I didn't want to cancel. So I asked my boss, can I come and do my Tai Chi classes in my room and skip the meeting part? So here I am. And if you want to see, I don't think you can see because I think the lighting is, you know how lighting is? Hold on. But that's the ocean, if y'all can see that at the balcony. But the lighting's weird, so.
Amelia, nice area.
Ma'am? I don't know if you had a question, but come back.
That's gorgeous.
It's so pretty. Oh, I just feel so spoiled to be able to wake up and have that there. I don't know the last time I've done this. It's been so many years. But anyway, I was trying to make it where I could have the ocean behind me, but the lighting, it made me like a shadow, and it was because it's too bright out there. So I tried, but here we go. Let's get started. Opening and closing our hands and just warming up our body. The space is a little bit awkward, but I'm going to do my best. Here's what's funny. On top, in front of me is a bed, and I put the chair on top of the bed from the desk, and then I have the laptop on top of the chair. So that's my setup. So y'all talk, you know, and talking about change and being flexible and, you know, being willing to try something new and different. I got here and I thought, oh, I realized the hotel rooms don't have a lot of space, but we're going to do this, and I'm doing it. So here's proof that, I mean, I'm somebody who hates change. So if I can do it, come with me. Let's do it together.
All right.
Ma'am?
I was just saying you're kind of coming and going a little bit. So
Oh, no. I was worried about the internet connection. I wasn't sure how strong it would be here. Y'all hang in there with me. And we'll just do the best with it. Because I don't know what else to do.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, so let's think about our body awareness. Our feet are about shoulder width apart. We have that nice soft bend in our knee. So we're not standing straight up, just a nice soft bend. We're supporting our weight on both of our legs. We have good posture. Our shoulders are nice and relaxed. We're not holding any tension anywhere as we prepare to do our warm-up stretches from head to toe, starting with our neck. Taking a few deep breaths to remind ourselves just how important breathing is. Inhaling that nice oxygenated air, exhaling completely our lungs. Do that nice diaphragmatic breathing. That's our goal throughout the day, is to remember to breathe. It's wild how often I catch myself holding my breath. So just check yourself throughout the day. How's your breath? How's your posture? How are you holding your body in a way that keeps you from pain? That's what we're working against here, is any kind of pain. So here we go. From the top, our heads, we bring our hands up, palms down, towards our chin and chest. Push away from our bodies and follow those hands all the way down. Feeling a little stretch in the back of our neck. Bring our hands back up towards our chin and chest. Push away from our bodies and our hands come all the way down. And y'all let me know if the connection is real bad, and I can connect to my phone as a hotspot, but maybe it'll be stable for me.
It's stable now.
Very good. Probably because I was trying to move that computer around. That might have been the glitch. All right, so now let's do the other neck exercise where we drop one hand towards our hip and follow this other one as we look towards that shoulder. We don't have to go as far as we can go, just enough to feel that nice stretch. This is definitely a range of motion for our neck stretch. When we think about doing everyday activities, I always think of driving, because that's usually the time that I move my head the most, making sure I can safely switch lanes or safely turn. So this exercise helps with everyday living in range of motion of your movement of your neck. So that's the first two in our Tai Chi series. Next is our shoulders, and we just roll our shoulders forward. Small circles, drawing little circles on the sides of our legs like quarter size, and then roll those shoulders back, just to give you a side view. It's almost like a massage you give yourself. It feels good. Just roll those shoulders forward and roll those shoulders back. Probably feel all the muscles in your back as you roll those shoulders. The next shoulder exercise, we bring our palms up and then we push our hands down in front. This is a good one to practice that breath as we inhale as we come up and then exhale as we push down. Always repeating slow, smooth, and continuous. And it's more for slowing myself down because I tend to be in a hurry. So this is nice to slow yourself down. Practicing that breath, inhale and exhale. Those two are for our shoulders. Now for our spine. So we're going to have our ball where our hands are facing each other. The hand that's on top of our ball is going to push down towards the ground. And remember that soft bend in our elbow. So we're not completely straightening that hand. We're pushing down, and the other hand follows our spine up and pushes up towards the ceiling. So I'm pushing up and down at the same time, stretching that spine. Come back to our ball and switch hands. Stretching that spine. I like to inhale as I come to that ball and exhale as I separate. It feels like I'm getting a better stretch when I exhale through that stretch. Back to my ball and switch. So as we go through class, I'll do my best to talk less so we can experience some of that internal zing, that quietness that's hard to experience when somebody won't stop talking. But it's kind of my job to talk. All right, so let's take our ball and let's go side to side. So I'm taking that ball for a short ride, and it's a torso movement. My hands or my ball is just going along for the ride. I go to just above that thigh. So I'm not going way over here as far as I can go. If I do, and you can try it, you start feeling your back stretch a little too much, and you may feel a little pulling of your knee. So this is just a small movement side to side to warm up that spine. We definitely don't want to do anything too much because that's when we can start hurting ourselves. It's just a slight stretch. With breathing, I inhale as I switch my hands and exhale as I go to the side. That'll really teach you to slow down. That's a short trip from side to side. Now remember how important this movement is to our Tai Chi series of movements. And all of our stretches prepare us for our Tai Chi series of movements. But this one right here in particular, and we're going to do it today, waving hands in clouds. So here you see my torso is going side to side, just like I did with my ball, but my hands are just a little bit different. But it's that same movement. So that's definitely something that you want to get a good grasp on is not going too far. It's just a slight movement, side to side, torso movement, not your hands moving, not hands, but torso. I was going to say, I think I saw somebody coming in. Let's see. I think this is Legenia. Let's see if it's. Did I let her in? All right. There you are, Miss Legenia. Glad you're with us, sis. I'm going to keep you on Susie now since we got started, but I know you're not Susie. All right. So next is our hip exercise. Now remember, when it comes to our lower body, our hips, knees, and ankles, if we have problems with balance, we want to make sure that we have a chair close by or something that's stable. This table is very stable. If I need to hold on to it as a helper from falling, there's no shame in that. Always listen to your body. We definitely don't want you to push it to the point of falling. But at the same time, I do want you to challenge yourself. So if it means standing up and holding on to something and doing the leg movements of these lower body exercises, that's what's important. The hand movements make it Tai Chi. The hand movements is just an enhancement to the movement. But the lower body exercise of this part is what's most important. But they are very challenging because it's a weight. These are our weight-bearing joints, and we're asking one leg to hold our weight. So we're going to shift our weight to one leg, and it doesn't matter which one. Then we'll place our heel forward and our hands back. So I'll turn to the side, heel forward, hands back. That's a counterbalance. Pause in the middle, and then put that toe back, hands forward. So you see how my body stayed upright that whole time. I didn't lean forward or backwards as I moved my leg. I kept my body upright. So that's important. Another thing to note is when I put that heel forward and when I put that toe back, it's at an angle like a kickstand. So it's not straight back because that's very unstable. Here is more of a kickstand back into the side, and that will be a more stable stance. So let's switch from one leg to the other as we do these movements to give that stable leg a break. Heel forward, hands back, pause in the middle, toe back, hands forward. Back, pause in the middle. Oops. Shift the weight. I was trying to stay on that one leg. Heel forward, hands back. Pause in the middle. Toe back, hands forward. Back to center. Shift the weight. Here we go. Heel forward, hands back. Remember to do it right this time. Pause in the middle. Toe back, hands forward. Back to the middle. Shift the weight. Heel forward, hands back. Pause in the middle. Toe back, hands forward. Let's do one more on each side. Shift the weight. Heel forward, hands back. Pause in the middle. Toe back, hands forward. And last one. Shift the weight. Heel forward, hands back. Pause in the middle. Toe back, hands forward. Very good. So now we're going to do our other hip exercise where we shift our weight from side to side. So we have our hands that are stacked together like this, and they're going in the direction of the weight shift. Remember, we stay within our frame, so we stop on the edge of our body as we're shifting the weight to that side. What we're not doing is going way over here, because then we start going towards falling, and that goes against what we're trying to do. So we're shifting that weight, staying in that frame. Now, when we get to this point, all our weight is shifted to this leg, then we can take this leg and tap it out to the side and back. Shift the weight and tap out. Now, if you don't feel comfortable tapping out, just skip that part. Just shift the weight and leave that foot there. That's brave to be able to tap that foot out and allow that one leg to hold your weight. So always listen to your body. And if your body says, sis, you're not going to lift, take that leg off the floor because I'm afraid I'll fall. Or let's say, well, I'm kind of scared, but maybe I can try it if I hold on to something. So you can, this is my imaginary clear invisible chair. So I'm holding on to my chair, and because I have the stabilizer of that chair, then I feel more comfortable taking that foot out to the side. So there's your choice right there. And that can help you feel more safe, but at the same time, getting what you need from this movement, and that is engaging muscle in these weight-bearing joints, the muscles that surround the weight-bearing joints. The one that's going to make a difference whenever you're out there out and about walking and maybe you get off balance, those muscles are so strong, it helps keep you upright, helps keep you from falling. So whatever you need to do to safely shift weight, that's what's going to help you build those muscles. By doing it slowly, you're engaging the muscle differently than if you were to quicken up and just, jog side to side. That engages different muscle. So slowing it down engages stabilizer muscle. So just remember, whatever you have to do to safely do it is what's going to help you in the long run. So those are our two for our hips. Now for our knees, we have a loose fist I keep mine down here by my hips. You can keep them here at your waist as long as you're not holding tension in your shoulders. So we're going to shift the weight, shift. We're going to lift this foot and tap the toe out, punch that opposite hand. Bring it back, shift the weight, lift, tap, and punch. Bring it back, shift, lift, tap, and punch. Bring it back, slowly shift that weight, lift, tap, and punch. Bring it back, shift, lift, tap, and punch. Bring it back. Let's do one more on each side. Shift, lift, tap, and punch. Bring it back. And last time, shift, lift, tap, and punch. Again, remember, you can skip that upper body as long as you're doing the weight shift, that lower body movement. If you ever want to challenge yourself on that one, lift your toe up a little higher off the ground. That changes things. And you may have good and bad days with balance, where some days you may feel like you can do it, other days not. Some days you might want to hold a chair or table to go through that movement. Next knee exercise is the step out. So let me turn to the side. And so I'm going to shift the weight. I'm going to step heel toe, small step. I'm going to shift the weight to that front foot, keeping my back foot off the on the floor, not off the floor. Keep that back foot flat on the floor. That body stays upright. As soon as I were to take this foot off the floor, it starts leaning me forward. So keep yourself stable, that foot on the floor. I'm going to shift the weight to that front leg and punch the opposite arm. Shift and punch. Bring the weight back and then the foot back. Now shift the weight. Shift, step, heel, toe, shift and punch, bring it back, feet side by side. Shift, step, heel, toe, shift and punch, bring it back, feet side by side. Shift, step, heel, toe, shift and punch, bring it back, side by side. Make sure you're breathing through this movement. These are the ones where we tend to hold our breath even more because we're challenging ourselves, shifting weight. I'll pause right here. Excuse me. To remind you that when you shift the weight to that front foot, you still have weight on this back foot. You're not completely shifting the weight to that front foot. You're definitely not taking that knee further out than the toe. That's a big no-no in knee care. So it's just a slight shift and then a shift back so that you can bring your feet side by side. Nothing big, very small movements, very small shift, just engaging stabilizer muscle. So those two are for our knees. Now we get to our ankles. So again, hold on to something. There's no hand movements for our ankle warm-up stretches. I like holding on to something, even though I do have good balance, because when we start doing the side-to-side movement for our ankles, I just always think, oh, what if I did fall and then twist my ankle? So I like holding on to something for this, but I'm rocking that foot, heel, toe, rocking that foot. Oh, that feels good. Sometimes I don't even feel this movement, but I feel this. All right, let's bring that foot back and then the other foot, heel, toe. Because you'll feel all the muscles in the front of your leg and in the back of your leg, your lower, your calf and your shin. Helping with blood flow, which is always good. And then our other ankle exercise, this is the one that always worries me about twisting an ankle, but big toe, little toe. So I'm going side to side with my foot. Side to side. Very good. So if you have flexible ankle joints, you can imagine that if you're ever in the situation where you kind of lose your balance, you fall, I think, uneven ground, because I live in the country and we don't have any kind of fancy like landscaping or yard, you know, it's just random holes from whatever critter decided to dig one. So if you come and you have a hole in your yard or a little divot in your yard, you can easily turn your ankle. But if you have a flexible, strong ankle joint, it can keep you from falling. And so that's true with all the joints. When you have a better range of motion, when you have better strength of your muscles, better control of your body, then you're less likely to fall. And that's what we're trying to accomplish here with Tai Chi, is that we have those things through Tai Chi. All right, let me get my water. So those are our warm-up stretches. Give yourself a little shake, and we are good to go for our Tai Chi series of movements, beginning with commencement. So commencement is lower body wise, a step forward. I shift the weight. This is mirror image. So I shift the weight to my right foot. I step out left. I shift left, and then I bring my right foot forward. So the footwork of commencement is that step forward. Shift right, step left, heel toe, shift left, bring that right foot forward. Easy enough there. The hand work for commencement. Our hands start out at our sides. The whole time of this movement, our hands face each other. So when we start low and we come up, our hands are facing each other and we're out, but we're not Frankenstein out. We have that soft bend in that elbow. So we come up, hands facing each other. And then we come down, come in towards our hips, up like an elevator, out again, and then bring those hands back in. So I'm going to turn to the side as I do that hand movement of commencement again. Hand up and down, in, up, out, and back. So you saw a little wiggle with my hands. My fingers pointed a little down, my fingers pointed a little up. My wrist had some movement there. And that's when my hands come up, my fingers are pointed more down. When my hands come down, my fingers are pointed more up. Here, they're pointed out and up, out. So my fingers are pointed out in those movements. And then when I do that final come back, my fingers are pointed up because that gets me ready for open and close. So open and close is that second movement. And that's that nice breath where when you inhale, your hands open, and when you exhale, your hands close. So that's the first two movements: commencement, open, and close. So let's put those upper body and lower body together. When we come up with our hands, nothing's happening with our feet. Up with our hands, it's when our hands come down that we shift right. Step with that left foot, bring those hands in and up. Now I'm going to shift my weight to my left foot as my hands go out. Bring the right foot forward, bring those hands back, open and close. Let's do it again. And commence. Up, down, shift weight. Step, in, up. Shift as those hands go out. Right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Let's do it a few more times. Then we'll break it down in a different way. Here we go. Commence, up, down, shift, step, in, up, Shift as I go out, foot forward, hands back, open and close. And again, commence, up, down and shift, step, in, up, shift out, foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Let's do it a couple times without my words. So commence. Open, close. So remembering to breathe as you do this movement. Let's do it again. Oh, and commence. Open and close. Now, just to give you a different idea of how to break it down, you think about weight shift with hand movement and how they go together. So when we come up, nothing's happening. We're not weight shifting. Our weight is on both of our legs. But when we shift down to that right foot, that's when our hands come down. So I shift as my hands come down. So that has a nice feeling to it. Come up, down when I shift. Then I step and then get my hands ready so that I can shift the weight to that front foot. So I shift out as my weight is going forward. So there's that motion that's happening at the same time, shifting forward and my hands are going forward. Same thing with the weight shift in the beginning. My hands come down and my weight shift is going down to that right leg. Shift down, step, get those hands ready, shift forward as those hands go out, bring the foot forward, and then there's the end of that movement. So hopefully you have a good grasp of our commencement movement and just some different ideas of how to break it down and do it differently. You can practice that lower body where you shift, step, shift. I call it a follow step, or, you know, bringing that foot forward. Practice that lower body, shift, step, shift, follow step. Practice that upper body and use Dr. Lamb's wonderful explanation of, look at my ball, it's so pretty. Oh, don't you want to play with it? You know, showing off that ball. Here it is, up and down. That's the pretty ball. You want somebody to play with it. But they don't want it. So you bring it back to yourself and you think, I think I'm going to give them one more chance. So you show them one more time that ball. They still don't want it. So you bring it back. So that's another way that's helpful to remember that hand movement, up, down, in, up, out, and back in, open and close. Next is single whip. Single whip is done to the right and it's done to the left. And in between those, I was trying to make up a new word. In between those is waving hands in clouds. So that first single whip to the right is shift the weight to that left leg. And I'm going to step out with my right. Now, when I stepped out, it was a small step and my foot is at an angle. It's about a 45-degree angle. When I step at an angle, it naturally turns my body in the direction of that foot. So I may be facing forward now, but when I step at the angle, you see my body naturally followed that angle. So this is that footwork of single whip. It's a shift left, step right, then I adjust the weight. So my weight's about 50-50 on those feet. Then I'm going to shift the weight to that back leg and bring that right foot back to get ready for waving hands and clouds. So it's starting off from here at open and close. Our weight's on both legs. We shift the weight to that left foot. We step out into the angle with our right and adjust the weight to both legs. Then we shift the weight to the left and bring that right foot back to get ready to step out for waving hands and clouds. So easy enough. It's always easy when we just do one, whether it be the lower body or the upper body. Like you're like, oh, I got that. That's no problem. It's putting the stuff together that makes your brain go, pow. So we try to break it down and we practice every single time and going over the movements. Hopefully you get a chance at some point between Tuesday and Tuesday to think about it and practice it by yourself so that you're right on it. You do it without thinking about it, and you can start to get more of those internal benefits because your brain isn't having to work, and you can focus more on the breathing and just slowly moving through the movements. If you're having to think, oh gosh, what do I do? Right or left? What's next? I don't know. Where's my weight? You know, if you're having to think, which you'd have to in the beginning, that's part of learning. But if you're having to constantly think, you can experience that, that nice, easiness of the Tai Chi. And that just comes with practice. So I always encourage you to practice, even if it's closing your eyes and just thinking about it. So we have the single whip, the first one to the right. So we shift left, we step right. We shift the weight back to that left leg and bring the right foot back. The hand work is coming from here because we're coming from open and close. And so remember, our body is sort of at an angle because of that step. So that those hands are facing each other, and we're going to extend those hands out. Not out, but out. So that soft bend in that elbow. Put those hands out. The hands are facing each other. I'm going to face you so you can see it. And then we're going to turn our hands away from us. So our palms are away, and then separate those hands. Okay? So when we separate those hands, we're going to be following that left hand. So, Lord, I hope I'm telling you right. Sometimes mirror image gets the best of me. So I shift left, step right, push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Okay, that's correct. I did not lie to you. Whew, I'm so glad I didn't lie to you. So one way to remember that is the foot that just stepped out. So here is, I shifted left, I stepped out right. Hands are here. I'm pushing my hand out, turn. My eyes follow my left hand. My left hand is opposite of the leg that stepped out. Okay, so if I were to follow my right hand, I'd be going in the direction of that foot that stepped out, and that would be wrong. So here, opening up, following the left hand opposite of the foot that stepped out. So my right foot is stepped out, I'm following my left hand. When you open your hands for that whip, that's what that movement is called, a whip, make sure you keep moving both hands. So when you put your hands out there, because your eyes are following that left hand, it's easy to forget about this guy, out of sight, out of mind. So you're here, but open both of them like that. So when you end the movement, both of your hands are spread out. You can feel that in your chest. Spread out. Single whip. That's called a single whip. So here from open and close, we shift left, step right, push our hands out, turn, separate, following that left hand, boom. So here, both of my hands have made it all the way out. I feel this in my back. I feel my chest opening up. My weight's on both legs. So boom, here. Now I'm going to shift the weight to that left foot, and I'm going to bring my hand down. I bring that right foot back and my right foot down. Now my eyes, I think about this like a magic trick, almost like I dare you hand to move. You know, my eyes are magic. You're not going anywhere. So when I do that here, my eyes are telling that hand not to go anywhere. And I bring this down with my foot back. And then to start the movement for waving hands in clouds, it does come down. Some people bring both hands down at the same time, and that's okay. So we have shift, step, push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Bring the right foot and right hand back, or if you want to, do it like this. Excuse me. So I brought both hands down after my single whip. That's up to you, however which way you want to do it. Either which way, that left hand is coming down because it has to start with the waving hands and clouds. So with whichever time you do it, same time as the right or when you step to do waving hands and clouds. Either way, it's coming down. Any questions about single whip?
No.
Okay, we're good. So let's talk about waving hands and clouds. Now, we do single whip. We did that to the right. And in a minute, we're going to do it to the left. Same thing, just different hands. But there's a waving hands and clouds in between. So the footwork of waving hands and clouds is Tai-Chi walking to the side. So the first waving hands and clouds is to our right. And I step out with my right to where my feet are a little wider than hip width apart. And then I shift right and follow step left. I'm walking that way. I'm walking to the right. I'm walking sideways. So I shift, I step, I shift, I follow step. I shift, I step, I shift, I follow step. So that was 3 steps to the right. That's the steps of waving hands and clouds. So I end single whip here. My right leg is poised and ready to step, so I do it. I step right, shift right, follow step left, shift left, step right, shift right, step left, one more step, shift right, step left. Yeah, I'm right. No, I'm saying it wrong. Shift right, step left. That's your 3 steps. And I'm sorry if I confused you. I confuse myself with mirror image sometimes. So walking to the side, Tai-Chi walking, shift, step, step. I'm shifting from one leg to the other as I make a move to the right. Soft bend in my knees helps me with that movement. It lowers my center of gravity. It helps me be more balanced when I have that soft bend as I shift. Remember, we keep our body upright, so we're not leaning as we move to the right. we're keeping body upright, shifting the weight, stepping, shift, follow step. So my body doesn't move. My legs are just shifting weight and stepping to the side. That's the lower body movement for waving hands and clouds. The handwork, remember I told you a while ago when we did the ball and we did our ball side to side, that same movement is our torso, except this time our hands look different. We're here. So remember I said this hand can come down, but when I step out with my right, when I step out, I change my hands. So this hand comes down and this hand comes up. So it's more like a crossbody. I think it looks kind of like a sash, doesn't it? So my hand kind of looks like a sash as I come crossbody. Okay. The end of single whip here. So when I step right, switch my hands. Now I'm going to turn, shift, step, switch my hands, turn. So let's just do that upper body where I start here. My hand is down here near my hip area. My palm is facing down. This hand is cross body. My palm is kind of out, really. So I'm turning, switch, turning. So my hands are switching, but then they're going along for the ride. Switch, turn, switch, turn, switch, turn, switch, turn. So just like that ball, it's a torso movement. Our hands are just a little different here. Very good. Putting the footwork and hands together. Remember, we talk about the words. There are 4 words, or you can pair them up and only have 2 movements. So here we finished single whip. We step right, switch our hands, turn to the right. Shift right, step left, switch hands, turn to the left. So when you make that step, you're getting ready to turn that same direction. Shift, step, switch, turn. Shift, step, switch, turn. Shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn. Let's come and do an open and close. So when you step right, you turn right. When you step left, you turn left. So that gives you a B, A, B, A, B. You're stepping to the right, you're turning to the right. You step to the left, you wave to the left. You step to the right, you wave to the right. You step to the left, you wave to the left. I just realized I said step to the left. It's when you step left. We're not stepping to the left. We're just stepping left. We're stepping that left foot. This first waving hands and clouds is all to the right. So I'm sorry if I misspoke and confused you. But this time we're stepping to the right. That left foot is a follow step. It gets us into the direction of right. When we do it next, when we do it to the right, to the left, we'll step left, shift, follow step right. So we do step our right and left foot, but that second step is a follow step. It takes us in that same direction. So the first waving hands and clouds comes from here. All right, so step right, switch, turn, step and switch, turn and shift, 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 step and switch, turn and shift. So you see, I combined two words. So I stepped and switched. So there was my step and switch. And then this time as I'm turning, I'm shifting my weight. So that can be helpful to just have, it feels like you have less to do whenever you combine them. So step and switch, okay, step and switch, shift and turn, step and switch, shift and turn, step and switch, shift and turn, step and switch, shift and turn. Write those words down. Have them on a Post-it, have them on a paper, have them on a chalkboard, whatever you have, put it in front of you, have those words so you don't have to use your brain, and find that smoothness of that movement of step and switch, shift and turn, step and switch, shift and turn. Find the groove in it so that you can make it more smooth. Slow, smooth, and continuous is our principle that we try to follow, but when we're learning, it makes it more difficult. So just practice that step and switch, turn and shift. So let's put that from the top where we can do commencement, open and close, single whip, waving hands and clouds, and then open and close. So here we go from the top and commence. Sorry, sprung leg. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands and clouds. I'm going to be in the bathroom in a minute. Open and close. Come in. And close it out. And there's just a few things. Okay, so housekeeping is coming in, so just be patient. We're going to do it one more time, and then we'll do our cool down. So we have commencement, up, down, step, open and close, single whip, shift, step, push, turn, waving hands and clouds. And to the middle for open and close. And close it out. So next week, we'll be able to do single whip and waving hands and clouds to the left. And then we'll just begin to practice our whole series and just fine tune our movements and be reminders of different ways that we can do it. So let's close by giving ourselves a little fist massage. Getting rid of that lactic acid. Let's gather tension. Oh, we don't like that. But it feels so good to let it go. Inhale and exhale. Gather tension and let it go. Let's do us a nice breath. Shoulder circle. Inhale up and exhale. One more. And exhale. And to end our class, we always have our right fist that represents our strength. Our fingers together that represents our friendship. Our thumb in that represents our humility. So strength, friendship, humility, and in mutual respect, we say namaste.
Namaste.
So thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for joining me on the beach. I hate to cancel. So there may be a time when I have to, but it wasn't this one. So y'all have a wonderful week. You let me know if I can do anything to help you. Miss Betty, you have my number, you have my email. But my number may be the best way. But anytime y'all need to get in touch with me, just call and I'll do my best. If I don't know the answer, I'll find it for you, okay?
Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your trip.
Thank you. I will. Love y'all.
Love you.
All right. Bye-bye.